Hey everyone, Michelle here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my May TBR video. Now I know I said in my resolution / goals for the year video that I would not be doing many readathons this year, like month-long ones. I did think I'd be breaking that in June for the Clear Your Shit mini round that is normally hosted. And then the Royal Readathon showed their prompts for May. And because for this readathon you can stretch these prompts paper thin, as in if you think it works, and you can put one book to 12 out of 14 prompts if it's possible. If you do not know what the Royal Readathon is, it is a readathon hosted by Becca at Becca Fowell and Liv at Liv in Magical Bookland. That is hosted normally 3 times a year, but this year it's twice, based on all things Disney. This is their 5th or 3rd year, I want to say, of hosting, and I dip in and out of this readathon. Sometimes I do join in with a round, sometimes I don't, but like I said, with this one I was like, I can hit a lot of them. I wasn't even going to watch the announcement video if I'm going to be honest. I just saw the prompts and I just finished reading. I just literally looked at my shelves and I was like, I can fit you for Hercules, I can fit you for that one, I can fit you for that one. And I was like, I need to watch this announcement video, and if I'm going to do it properly. No word of a lie, within half an hour of me watching that announcement video, I'd actually messaged Ada to say, yeah, I've got my TBR set for May already. That was like the 5th of April and today's the 11th. When I'm filming this, so yeah. But before I go into my Royal Readathon TBR, let me tell you about the one book that isn't on the Royal Readathon TBR and the reason why. In the month of May I have one family birthday, and that is my lovely brother-in-law Steve. His birthday is the 13th, so I thought, like this month I read the 11th and 18th book off my to be read list for my mum and my sister. I thought I'd do the same for him, so here is me finding out book number 13 on my TBR. And as you can see, book number 13 is The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. Now this is my book for November for Read Your Bookshelf, for that prompt, but I'm not changing the book for that prompt. I'm just gonna still include it. It doesn't matter when you read them books, so reading this 5-6 months in advance doesn't really matter. On to the synopsis. Lib Wright, a young English nurse, arrives in an impoverished Irish village on a strange mission. 11-year-old Anna O'Donnell is said to have eaten nothing for months but appears to be thriving miraculously. With tourists thronging to see the child and the press so in doubt, the baffled community looks to an outsider to bring the facts to light. Lib's job is simple: to watch the girl and uncover the truth. An educated skeptic, trained by the legendary Florence Nightingale and repelled by what she sees as ignorance and superstition, Lib expects to expose the fast as a hoax right away. But as she gets to know the girl over the long days they spend together, Lib becomes more and more unsure. Is Anna a fraud or a living wonder? Or something more sinister unfolding right before Lib's eyes? A tragedy in which she herself is playing a part. Now for the Royal Readathon. So starting off in the Bronze Era, for the movie Pinocchio, the prompt is to read a horror or thriller. I'm a thriller gal, so I've gone for a sequel that I have wanted to read for months, and that is The Binding Room by Nadine Matheson. This is the 2nd book in the D.I. Henley series. I read The Jigsaw Man last year by Nadine. I gave it 4 stars if I remember correctly. I loved it, so I did have this pre-ordered last year, but then it came out during my reading slump, so I cancelled it. Went to Leeds with Sophie and Ada and saw it half price and was like, I need to get that book, even though I wasn't meant to buy any books today. While it is the next in the series, nothing spoils the first book in the synopsis, so I will read you that. In this room, no one can hear you scream. The serial crimes unit are called in to investigate when a local pastor is found stabbed to death. As D.I. Henley assesses the crime scene, she discovers a hidden door that conceals a room set up for torture. And bound to the bed in the middle of the room is the body of the man. When another body is found, also tied down, Henley realises there's someone out there torturing innocent people and leaving them for dead. But why? There's nothing that connects the victims, they didn't know each other, their paths never crossed. But someone has targeted them, and it's up to Henley and the SCU to stop them before they find another binding room. I'm going to skip Snow White for the moment, and I will let you know why that is one of 2 prompts I have not got a book for at the moment. In Silver Era, for the film The Sword and the Stone, the prompt is to read a book with learning, and for this one I have gone for The Hemlock Cure by Joanne Byrne. It is 1665 and the women of Ayam keep many secrets. Elizabeth Frith, the village midwife, walks a dangerous line with her herbs and remedies. There are men in the village who speak of witchcraft, and Isabel has a past to hide. So she tells nobody her fears about Wulfric, the pious, reclusive apothecary. May, Wulfric's youngest daughter, dreads her father's rage if he discovers what she keeps from him. Like her feelings for Wraith, Isabel's ward, or that she studies from Wulfric's forbidden books at night. But others have secrets too, secrets darker than they would ever have imagined. When May makes a horrifying discovery, Isabel is the only person she can turn to, yet helping May will place them both in unspeakable peril. And meanwhile, another danger is on its way from London, one that threatens to engulf them all. Still in the Silver Era, for Peter Pan the prompt is to read a book with adventure, and for this one I have chosen Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. Lucosa was once a city of magic. Now magic is nothing more than a myth. Kofi is a beastkeeper in Lucosa's infamous night zoo, caring for fearsome creatures to pay off their family's debts, until she mistakenly unleashes a wild and mysterious power that sends the night zoo up in flames. Econ is destined to become an elite warrior, like his father and brother before him, until the fire at the night zoo throws his destiny into disaster and he is cast out forever. Thrown together, Kofi and Econ have only one choice. They must enter the terrifying Greater Jungle and capture the Shitana, the legendary monster that has plagued Lucosa for a century. Magic has returned to Lucosa, and the hunt has begun. Now on to Golden Era, and for Oliver and Company the prompt is to read a book set in a city, and for this one I have gone for All of Our Demise by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman, the sequel to All of Us Villains. Yeah, that's the one. I gave All of Us Villains 3.5 stars last year, if I remember correctly, and I only wanted to pick this up because of one character. Again, the synopsis doesn't really spoil All of Us Villains too much. It spoils a little bit, but not enough to deter you from reading the book. So if you do think me reading the synopsis is a spoiler, I do apologise. Please skip along a couple of seconds, like maybe a minute. You will see a familiar book come up when I talk about the next prompt. And if you're here for the synopsis, here it is. For the first time in this ancient bloodstained story, the tournament is breaking. The boundaries between the city of Ilvernath and the arena have fallen. Reporters swarm the historic battlegrounds. A dead boy now lives again, and a new champion has entered the fray, one who seeks to break the curse for good, no matter how many lives are sacrificed in the process. As the curse teeters closer and closer to collapse, the surviving champions each face a choice. Dismantle the tournament piece by piece, or fight to the death as this story was always intended. Long-held alliances will be severed, hearts will break, lives will end. Because a tale as wicked as this one was never destined for a happily ever after. And for the aristocrats, the prompt is to read a book with an animal on the cover, and for this one I have gone for Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. Again, there is a snake, which is an animal. Now on to the Renaissance, and for Hercules, the prompt is to read a book about strength, and for this one I have gone with Stoneblind by Natalie Haynes. Medusa is a sole mortal in a family of gods. Growing up with her Gorgon sisters, she begins to realise that she's the only one who can experience change, the only one who can be hurt. And her mortal lifespan gives her an urgency that her family will never know. When the sea god Poseidon commits an unforgivable act in the temple of Athene, the goddess takes her revenge where she can, and Medusa is changed forever. Writhing snakes replace her hair, and her gaze now turns any living creature to stone. The power cannot be controlled. Medusa can look at nothing without destroying it. She is condemned to a life of shadows and darkness, until Perseus embarks upon a quest to fetch the head of a Gorgon. Now, I have chosen this for strength because there is a little tidbit at the top. So to mortal men we are monsters. Because of our flight, our strength, they fear us, so they call us monsters. For Mulan, the prompt is to read a book with societal standards, and for this one I've chosen my Read Your Bookshelf book, which the prompt for me is to read a book longer than April's, and that book for both is Daughters of Night by Laura Shepherd Robinson. I would call this a sequel to Blood and Sugar, but it's not technically a sequel, it's just set in the same world following a character from Blood and Sugar, so not a spoiler. London, 1782. Caroline Caro Corsham discovers a well-dressed woman in the bowers of the Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, mortally wounded and alone. When the Bowstry Constable unearth the identity of the dead woman, they cease to care entirely. However, Caro has motives of her own for wanting justice done, so sets out to solve the crime herself, enlisting the help of thief-taker Peregrine Child. Their inquiries throw them headlong into the deeper hidden corners of Georgian society, a world of artifice, deception and secret lives. And with many gentlemen refusing to speak about their dealings with the dead woman, and Caro's own reputation under threat, finding the killer will now be harder and more treacherous than she can know. Now into post-Renaissance. For Atlantis, the book prompt is to read a book that is underrated. That is the second prompt I haven't fulfilled yet, and I will tell you I haven't fulfilled Atlantis and Snow White after the rest of the prompts. For Lilo and Stitch, the prompt is of course to read a book about found family, and for this one I have chosen Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. After decades of adventuring, Viv the York barbarian is finally hanging up her sword for good. Now she sets her sights on a new dream, for she plans to open the first coffee shop in the city of Thune, even though no one there actually knows what coffee is. If Viv wants to put the past behind her, she can't do it alone. Help might arrive from the unexpected quarters, yet rivals old and new stand in the way of success. And Thune's shady underbelly would make it all too easy for Viv to take up the blade once more. But the true reward of the uncharted path is the travellers you meet along the way. Whether bound by ancient magic, delicious pastries or a freshly brewed cup, they may well become something deeper than Viv could ever have imagined. Legends and Lattes is a cosy, heartwarming story of found family, fresh starts and the perfect cup of coffee. Now for the revival prompts. For these 4 films and 4 prompts, the books are already on the shelves, so I'm just going to quickly run through them. Tangled, the prompt is to read a book with the sun on the cover. Stoneblind has 2 sun halves, so I'm counting them. I have also chosen Stoneblind for Raya and the Last Dragon, which is to read a book with a transformation. Obviously Medusa goes from mortal to the Medusa we know and love / are scared of. For Moana, the prompt is to read a book with a shiny cover, and for Encanto, the prompt is to read a book with a small community. I've chosen The Hemlock Yaw for both of these prompts. And there we have my 8 books for May. I don't know whether I'm stupid or clever for doing this readathon during a month where I'm not here for like half a week. But the good thing about this readathon and the prompts is that there are a few books that I can class for like more than one prompt. Again, so if needed, I can take books off this TBR and just fill them with books I've already read or plan to read. But yeah, I'm really excited for this readathon. I've missed doing readathons, but I've loved not having the pressure of collecting points. That is another thing I love about the Royal Readathon. This time around, there are no points, it's just read, which I'm very happy about. Before I wrap up this video, let's go through Snow White and Atlantis. Snow White is to read a book where there is a family dispute. None of these books in the synopsis mention a family dispute. However, I am like 98% sure at least one of them will have a family dispute in it. So I'm going to hold off filling that prompt until I've read the books. If I have time and I've read all 8 books and I have time to read another book and I haven't filled that prompt, I do have a book in mind. I just didn't want to go over 8 books. And for Atlantis is to read a book that is underrated. For this prompt, for me personally, I have at least 2 books on this TBR that I am sure is underrated. Well, are underrated, I should say. So for me, I'm going to wait until I read them and rate them and then compare to what they generally are on Goodreads. I don't tend to look at Goodreads ratings until I've actually finished the book, hence why I haven't picked a book yet. But knowing my luck, I'm going to find a book that I have like 5-starred and it's like 2.78 or something on Goodreads. And that does tend to happen with a lot of my ratings. I rate them like 1 or 1.5 above what's actually on there. So yeah, that's the reason them 2 aren't fulfilled, but they will be fulfilled by the end of the month. And that's the end of this long-winded TBR. Have you read any of these books? If you have, and you think, Michelle, for those other 2 books, you could pick this one, let me know. Are there any books on there that you're like, Michelle, and they can spread it paper thin? That's literally about a hair width from breaking that prompt with that book. Please, again, let me know. My Goodreads is down below. If anyone's ever looked at anything, Michelle, it's on your to-be-read shelf, this book would fit XYZ prompt. Again, let me know. Are you participating in the Royal Readathon? Please send me your TBR videos or posts if you are and you've done one. I love to read TBR videos or blogs for readathons because I'm always like, oh, I would never put that book for that prompt. Add to wish list. If you have liked this video, please give it a like. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. If you don't want to, not an issue, but let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Michelle and my reading, like my life, is a chaotic mess. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to, again, not an issue. But until the next video, bye!